Welcome to Earn the Ride. This is a multi-track audio channel for midlife founders, professional experts and solo practice owners who want to take control of their voice, their reputation and authority and unlock the opportunities that come with that. We have 4 tracks and each track is like a mini show. Today's track is In the Arena. So this is adapted from my Earn the Right Substack. Today I will be covering one essay that has appeared on the Substack newsletter, and in other ones we're going to down the track we'll have dispatches on credibility, creativity, communication, and the craft of showing up. So let's get on with this show. Taking your personal brand off Broadway, the hidden stages where authority is built and reputations are made. Philip Seymour Hoffman never abandoned the small stage. Even after winning an Academy Award and becoming one of the most respected actors of his generation, he kept showing up in off-Broadway and even off-Broadway productions. He became a key member and director at the Labyrinth Theatre Company. He was directing and performing in intimate venues where audiences numbered in the dozens, not the thousands. Hoffman's choice reveals something important, and that is that credibility isn't forged under the glare of the biggest spotlight. It's cultivated in the smaller, more intimate rooms where the work is raw, the connections are real, and reputations are built one performance at a time. On Broadway, high visibility potential. These are the big, bright stages, crowded, algorithm, mass visibility. Everyone wants to be on Broadway, the bright lights, the marquee platforms, the standing ovations. But in our world, PR, authority branding and personal brand communications, Broadway represents the main stages where everyone congregates, competing for attention. For example, LinkedIn, those flagship posts, videos and carousels built to play to the feed and the algorithm. Instagram, we've got reels, stories and carousels aimed at getting attention and reach. YouTube, polished long-form or short-form content designed for discovery. Mainstream podcasts, the big business entrepreneurship shows with massive audiences. And if we're looking at mainstream media, we're talking about tier 1 media. That's what we call in the PR industry. This is the national press and prime TV and radio and the magazines like Forbes and Australian Financial Review, the Wall Street Journal, etc. Now, the upside of Broadway, you get reach, you get scale, you get momentum. When you land a hit on Broadway, you're suddenly visible to thousands, sometimes millions, and it's a powerful way to be seen. But there is a cost. You're one voice in a crowded chorus line. Algorithms and editors and producers, they decide if you're spotlighted. You're competing with noise, trends, attention spans measured in seconds. Recognition can be fleeting. Broadway gets you visibility, but visibility alone does not build authority. Enter Off-Broadway, where reputations are forged. Think credible, intimate, specialist stages where trust and resonance and depth are the key factors involved. Now, I want to introduce a different way of thinking when it comes to your professional personal brand. This is Off-Broadway. In theatre, Off-Broadway isn't second-rate. It isn't less than. It's where ideas are tested and reputations are forged and smaller, more engaged audiences lean in. Cult followings begin off-Broadway while serious talent hones its craft there. For expert founders, knowledge leaders and solo practice owners, off-Broadway represents those channels, stages and collaborative opportunities that aren't dominated by the mainstream platforms and big media names. It's where you build trust, connection and credibility, not by shouting louder, but by showing up in the right rooms with the right people in the right way. Now, this approach is particularly powerful now when audiences are drowning in algorithmic AI-generated content and they're craving authentic expertise. While everyone else fights for fleeting attention on the main stage, you can build lasting authority in spaces where attention is earned, not bought, not gamed. Off-Broadway, now I'm talking again for personal branding purposes, this is where credibility takes root and includes such things as guesting on niche podcasts where your ideal audience actually listens, professional associations speaking at their events, contributing articles to their newsletter or their magazine, where your peers and your prospects gather. Substack and newsletter ecosystems, writing your own publication where you own the relationship with readers, or guesting on other people's publications. Trade and niche media, these are sector publications, vertical titles, alumni magazines, regional business journals. These publications carry weight in your field or your community. And boutique conferences and industry roundtables, curated gatherings where connections are made and conversations run deep. These stages might feel smaller, but the trust built there is stickier. Remember, people will take notice of you. They'll remember you, they'll connect with you, and they will share you with others. And hey, we can always go smaller, and something worth thinking about. I'm talking about Off Broadway, the hidden stages. Think hyper-focused, under-the-radar stages where experimentation and micro-influence and relationship building takes place. So Off Broadway, this is the truly intimate, experimental, and sometimes overlooked spaces. This is where authority is forged at its most raw and authentic. It's not about polished perfection, it's about connection, experimentation, and organic word of mouth. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about. Again, I'm using the Broadway, Off-Broadway, Off Broadway as a metaphor for our personal branding communications and the channels we can use to get our story and our message out there. Okay, some examples of Off Broadway in that space. Curated communities, so think Slack groups, LinkedIn or Facebook groups, private forums or mastermind circles where you become the go-to voice. Local grassroots events, chambers of commerce breakfasts, service club dinners, co-working space talks, community meetups, invite-only round tables, small but intimate. Collaborative projects such as co-creating resources or content with other credible experts. Hyper-niche platforms, so I'm talking about specialist discords, Reddit threads or online Q&As where depth matters more than polish. Think micro-content experiments to test ideas and to spark conversations. And pop-up opportunities. These are spontaneous, low-key chances to share your expertise. Along these lines, I'm thinking guest teaching a module for a colleague's course, or doing a live Q&A inside a peer's private group, or joining a last-minute panel at a micro conference. Taking advantage of these opportunities, they're blink and you'll miss it appearances, and they might not have, and they don't have much mass reach, but they create outsized impact because of their immediacy and their proximity to the audience and their relevance. So off-Broadway appearances are all about intimacy, and intimacy fuels trust. And trust fuels advocacy, and advocacy fuels the kind of word of mouth you cannot buy. Okay, so what about playing all the stages? Let's be clear. This is not anti-Broadway, but it's just one PR card in the credible authority deck. There's a time and a place to seek the bright lights, no doubt. And having a viral LinkedIn post or a big media feature or a prime podcast spot, these are terrific and they can really amplify your reach and elevate your brand. But here's the kicker. Off-Broadway and Off-Broadway are often the on-ramp to Broadway success. The cult following you build in the smaller venues gives you staying power when you step into the spotlight. You don't just show up on Broadway empty-handed. You arrive with a serious body of work, a trusted reputation, and an audience that already believes in you. So, a couple of key takeaways here. On Broadway, visibility gets you seen, no doubt. Off Broadway, credibility, it gets you trusted. And off Broadway, intimacy and experimentation, you get chosen. Authority isn't built under the bright lights alone. It's built in the quiet rooms, the overlooked venues, the hidden stages where trust is earned, conversation by conversation. So here's the question for you. Where is your personal brand currently playing? If you're seriously about becoming a genuinely credible authority, don't just fight for space on Broadway. Take your personal brand off Broadway. That's where authority is built and reputations are made.